Hi, and welcome to Introduction to Engineering. We're going to take this time to talk about safety. So basically, you're going to understand how to work safely in your classroom or lab and interact with all the tools. Also, creating a safety culture and the importance of that, not only in this class, but also beyond this class in the real world. So I want you guys to take a moment in your learning management system or with the people at your table to talk about two pieces of personal protective equipment. If you don't know what that is, think about what it might be. And then give an example of a story you've seen where safety protocols failed in the field of engineering. So go ahead and pause the video and answer these questions. Great, so personal protective equipment can come in a lot of different forms. So let's talk about it as we bring up our safety minute. So in the introduction to the class, our safety minute talked about what a safety engineer does. You guys are going to be seeing safety minutes throughout this entire class, so you're going to have one for each of the projects that you're going to do. This is actually really common practice in industry. So a lot of times if you go to a meeting, they'll always start with a safety minute. This is a chance for you guys to be exposed to, usually it's a fact or some information, or maybe just to make you aware of a particular safety problem that you might find when working on a particular project. Safety in the world of engineering is regulated by OSHA, Occupational Safety Hazard Administration, I believe is the A. And down in the bottom right, you'll see the different symbols for different types of PPE, so personal protective equipment. So hard hat, safety goggles, hearing protection, safety vests, so that's sort of like a reflective vest, steel-toed boots, gloves, respirator, and face shield. So depending on the type of job that you do out in the field, you might need any number of these. You might need more of these. One that's not listed on here is actually a fire retardant suit. So that there's a brand called Nomex. So they're usually commonly referred to as Nomex. But so you always want to make sure you look at all the signs and follow all of the safety protocols. And like I said, you're going to be experiencing a safety minute for each of the units that we're going to explore in this class. If you see something, say something. So this is really important when we talk about building a safety culture. So if you see someone not wearing safety glasses, it's okay for you to say, hey, you need to wear your safety glasses. Don't ignore it. If it's unsafe for the person, then you need to tell them immediately. If your teacher is present and you're not comfortable telling them, then it is appropriate to get the teacher, but it's really more important for you to say something. So don't just let things go. Being safe and doing things the safe way is the right way and should be celebrated. So a lot of times in plants, people might have the safety guard off and you say, hey, the safety guard's off. They're like, yeah, I've been doing it that way forever. It's fine. No, it's not okay. We need to build a safety culture where the culture of safety where the response is, oh my gosh, you're right. I completely forgot. Let me fix it. Okay, so safety is cool. Why should we be concerned with safety? Well, it can really save lives. It can prevent the spread of illness. So safety can also be considered washing your hands. And in this time of COVID, that's really relevant to us. You could prevent damage to property or equipment. So if you misuse a piece of equipment, it could break. It could cause damage with flying objects coming off of a saw and break windows. You never know. All those things cost money to fix. So you're saving money by acting safely. You're protecting the privacy of everyone. So this has to do with maybe some cyber safety and not releasing personal information. And peace of mind. All those things are really great in industry, and in the classroom, all of the above. Okay, so all the same things apply. So safety is universal. By the numbers, so every 7 seconds a worker is injured on the job, and you'll see that these are 3 of the largest categories. So overexertion is a big one. So when you're working, it's important to take breaks when you're supposed to and not just say, oh, I'm going to push through, it's fine. Take those breaks, especially in South Louisiana if you're working outside. Contact with equipment. So this is if you have maybe long sleeves or a lanyard or maybe even your long hair and that gets caught in a machine, you have 26% of all injuries are due to something like that. And then another 26 due to slips, trips, and falls. And that can be falls at the same level or falls to a lower level. So falling off of like a platform or scaffold. So lots of injuries, and we want to make sure we try to avoid those by having a positive safety culture. So safety engineering, I think we talked a little bit about this in our Unit 1 Safety Minute, but it applies the principles of engineering to design safe systems. So safety engineers are usually on the front side, so they're dealing with trying to design safety into the system. So like if you've ever used a weed whacker, you have to push a button before you can turn it on. So that prevents it from accidentally turning it on just by resting it on the ground. So things like that where safety is designed into a system, or maybe you have to push 2 buttons and they're so far apart that no single person could push them. That makes sure that 2 people are present for a particular task. So those kinds of things are designed by safety engineers. And a typical safety engineer makes over $90,000 a year. So that just tells you how much companies value safety engineers and their role in keeping employees and equipment safe. Safety is not these kinds of attitudes. Okay, so safety is for kids. I don't need to do it. I'm an adult. I've been doing it for years. It'll never happen to me. These glasses make me look dumb. I don't need them. I've done this 1,000 times without any safety equipment and I've never gotten hurt. All of those are really bad attitudes to have. Obviously, we have health insurance and we have life insurance and we have these things because, yeah, most of the time, car insurance, all of these things, you know, we pay for it because we know it could happen. And the same thing is true with safety. You might do something 1,000 times without safety glasses and you're fine. But if you do it without it and something comes, you could be blinded for life. So you want to make sure that safety is an attitude and that it's a positive attitude. Okay, so what about safety in the engineering design process? So we have our steps in the engineering design process. So identify the problems and constraints. Okay, so safety here is consider safety issues and generate solutions. So even in the brainstorming phase, you want to make sure that you're taking into consideration safe solutions. What about in the that was in the ask stage. In the brainstorming stage, you're researching the problem and maybe coming up with multiple solutions. And here you want to make sure that you're moving forward with those safe implementations. So the problems that you identified the safety concerns, and in your brainstorming and design, you're moving forward with those. In the create phase, where we're creating the prototype, we obviously want to identify any risks with testing that prototype, and if there might be any risks associated with it, that you make sure you check with your teacher. Okay, so our test and improve. So this is where we're actually testing our prototype and maybe making some design improvements. So again, you want to make sure that any safety issues that you identified in testing, that those are still addressed as you're improving your product. Reflect and document. So documenting the final results. You definitely want to document any safety issues and any protocol on how to use the product safely. So all along the way, you want to make sure that you focus on safety, and then you're documenting all along the way in your engineering notebook. And all of those things are important. So safety material and location. So take a minute, pause the video, and if you're in your classroom, have your teacher show you where all of your safety equipment is. So maybe you have a fire extinguisher, safety glasses, gloves, a sink to wash your hands or wash your eyes if you get something in it, and then a first aid kit if you do get a boo-boo, if you cut yourself on something. So take a second and identify these things in your classroom if they're present. Okay, we live in a digital age, so safety online is really important. It's not a huge concern in this class because we're not going to be doing any cybersecurity type stuff, but it is really important to always be aware of online safety. So you want to keep your information private, just like in public. Don't talk to strangers on the internet. I know there's some gaming platforms, and of course, you know, sometimes we do talk to strangers, but keep it very superficial. Don't ever give any identifying information. Don't ever agree to meet up with them by yourselves. Don't download anything without permission. So your Chromebooks are likely locked and prohibit you from doing that. But on your personal computers, you may not have those restrictions, and you want to be really careful that someone doesn't send you a virus that you load on. Don't tolerate or circulate or be a part of cyberbullying. It's really, especially in this day and age, we've had some pretty controversial race issues come to, you know, a lot of social media platforms. The race issues have been there for a long time, but now people are using social media. And while that's a really wonderful, wonderful thing, there's also a lot of really ugly comments going back and forth instead of using those platforms to make helpful solutions and to work together and collaborate to find some workable solutions to these serious problems. People are using these platforms to be very ugly. So don't cyberbully, don't be a part of that. Be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. And your digital footprint, things that you do and you put online, they stay with you forever. Just because you can't find it on a Google search doesn't mean it's not there. So remember that anything and everything you post online stays with you forever. And even the smallest, tiniest mistake, if it's posted online, it could follow you forever. So please be very mindful when you post videos of yourself or others that it's respectful, and you would be proud for that to be published on the front page of any newspaper or posted on any news media outlet. Okay, so classroom safety, just always be mindful of your behavior, your actions, your belongings. It's one of the biggest issues is tripping over backpacks. This is a class where you'll be moving around. So please make sure your backpacks are in their appropriate place, and make sure that you act appropriately in your classroom. No running, no horseplay. And there's actually going to be a general safety contract that you'll have to sign. Okay, so here it is. Let's take a look at it. We have general classroom safety, apparel and accessory safety, general machine safety, power tool safety, electrical and soldering safety. So we won't do any of that in this class, but if you continue in the LSU pathways, you will see some online safety, a location of where each material can be found, and you will need to sign and date. So your teachers should hand these out, or if you're taking this class virtually, it will be posted and you will need to sign it and scan it and send it back in. So I hope that you've enjoyed the safety presentation and that you understand all of the expectations in this class, and make sure you build a safety of culture with yourself and with everyone around you.